Hey everyone, it's Steve Harris with Muse Themes. We have another widget ready to go, and this is called the Breadcrumb Navigation Widget. So if you're not familiar with breadcrumbs on the web, basically what this is it's usually a small kind of toolbar or listing of the page on the site that you're on and the various layers or levels above it. So it's meant for your users to be able to find their way back and out of complex sites that have lots of layers and levels. So if we go on the web here, and actually I went on the Home Depot website, you can see that they use breadcrumbs up in this top left corner to show you kind of which section you're in. So you're at the home and then the appliances section and then of course cooking. So we've created a widget that allows you to do this in Muse, and let me jump into the app here and show you how it works. So I'll go ahead and drag it out on the page. It's number 38, our breadcrumb navigation widget. And when we drop that on the page, you can see that we have a fairly large panel here, but that's just because we need to include all of the areas where you can input these various links. So our widget contains or has the ability for you to do 5 levels of linking. So let me zoom in a little bit on the page here to 100%. And you can see that right away we have a very kind of simple breadcrumb appearing. So it says enter level 1 text, and then there's a divider, and then it says enter level 2 text. So if we bring out the flyout panel again, I'll run through the options quickly here. Up top we have breadcrumb setup. And so we have breadcrumb style. Right now it's set to simple text. Now we've included a whole bunch of styles in here, but I think most people just want to use a text-based kind of breadcrumb here. And so that's what we have. If you bring up the drop down, you can select all these different styles. And if we click on one, you'll see how this changes. So now this is a little bit more of a styled bar. There's a background and kind of an arrow element to it. And if you go through all of these different styles, we have a few varieties and a few options. I'm going to leave it on simple text 1 for now. And when we do that, we have the ability to change the divider style. So right now it's set to double arrows, but we could select any of this 5 in here. So if we go to a long arrow, you'll see it change here on the page to just a little bit of a longer kind of text arrow. So you can modify that as needed. I personally like the double arrows. I think that's kind of cool. And now let's look at the breadcrumb styling options. So these are pretty standard. You see this in most of our widgets, but it just allows you to change all of the background colors and the rollover colors for all of these links. So if we're using the simple text style for the breadcrumb, then we do not really have a breadcrumb background color. If we went to style 1, for example, you'd see that this is the background color here. So right now it's set to kind of this gray color, and we could set it to black, for example's sake, and you can see that it turns black here. Then we have the rollover color below it and the font. So I'm going to go back to the simple text one, and let's just set a different font. So let's go with Open Sans. There you go. So now you can see the font just automatically updates in the preview. We of course can change the font size. So let's go up to 16. And then we have color and rollover color. And then lastly is the divider color. So that's the color of this little divider that you're seeing in the middle. So the next area we have below is for enabling or disabling the various levels. So if we wanted to have this on a kind of 3-level site, then we just click enable level 3. Right now 2 is the lowest you can go because you don't really need a breadcrumb unless you have at least 2 layers on your site. So we've enabled level 3. And let's go ahead, and in these boxes below you can see that for each level you can set the text, the URL, and the URL target. So let's set the text on the first level as home. Then for the second level we'll set the text as something like portfolio. And in the third level you'd want to have something like perhaps web design. So you're kind of going deeper into the portfolio, into the web design category. Now, as far as setting these links, if you've created a page in Muse and you want, for example, the portfolio breadcrumb to go to a page called portfolio, let me go back in the plan view here, and you can see that I have a little page set up with kind of a bunch of names on it. So we have one called portfolio. So this widget is actually pretty smart. It should be able to just find that portfolio page. All you need to do is put in portfolio.html, and that's it. And now it will link up to that page. So now you have the option if you want it to open in the same tab, which means it'll kind of open in the same window you're working with, and your user would have to hit back to go back to it. Or you can select open in a new tab. And this means that when they're done with it, they'd actually close that tab or window and your original site would be behind. So usually you want to leave this in open in the same tab unless you're going to an external site. So for example, right now on level 2, we have it linking to MuseThemes.com. That's an external link, and you'd probably want to go in a new tab for something like that. So let's go ahead and just preview this. I just noticed that portfolio is actually set in the level 1. So I'm going to put that there like that. And remember, when you're previewing this widget, you have to preview your full site in the browser, or else it's not going to load all of those various pages that you'll need. So I actually ended up on the home page here, which isn't the right page. We placed this right now on the about page. So let me go ahead and drop it on the home page. And we'll preview that. And there you can see that it shows up quite nicely. The rollover states are applied, and it looks just like you would see any other breadcrumb out there on the web. And of course, if you click one of these links, then it goes to the portfolio page on your site. Since this is a blank site, there's not much to see there. However, it did indeed go to the right spot. So that's the Breadcrumbs widget. I think it works really nicely for this purpose. And remember, it's really not essential unless you have kind of a larger scale site. But let us know if you have any concerns or any questions on this widget, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks again.